Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tim Gard.
Well done. Well done. Woohoo. Well done. I'm not going to have you hugging each other. I have nothing against that. But I just came from an event in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, where the guy that was on ahead of, woohoo, I'm already hit. The guy that was on ahead of me had everybody touch fingers with the person next to them and say something personal. They always wanted to say it. And about half the group got up and walked out. And on our way to the airport, he said to me, you know, Tim, you've been in the business a long time. He said, what did I do wrong? And I said, Carl, these are truck drivers. They're more comfortable with pull my finger rather than... And I told him that people today are looking for solid information about how to deal with situational stress and not what I call Peter Pan advice. And I said, in my seminars, I talk about a very simple concept. You know, the great philosopher Britney Spears said, it doesn't need to be rocket surgery. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I think that if we look at stress and all the things that you run into all day long, if we keep that philosophy in mind, we're going to be ahead. I believe in this. When something good happens, you do this. Woohoo! Try that. Woo-hoo. When something bad happens, you do this. Bummer. Try that. Bummer. Let it go. So if something bad happens, what do we do? Bummer. Let it go. When something good happens, what do we do? Woo-hoo. It's not rocket surgery. On the way here yesterday, I started out in Portland, Oregon, and I had some of you were probably on the plane with me yesterday. I discovered that if there's a little bit of clouds in the area of McCarran Airport, they will shut it down for 4 or 5 hours. I feel much safer when they do that. But about every 20 minutes, they would announce that we've had another short delay, and that's a what? That's a bummer. And some people... I'm sure that a lot of the folks that are up there, some people were fine, like with me, I'm fine with it. Other people were angry and actually yelling at him. And this one guy said, I don't care if there's storms in Las Vegas, I have to go to Las Vegas. And he walked off. And I thought, I don't know what he's expecting him to do, you know. A couple months ago, I was on a flight that had a mechanical problem. The plane was broken. Guy yelled at him and he said, I don't care if that plane's broken. Again, coming to Vegas. I don't care if that plane's broken. I have to go to Las Vegas. I don't care if the plane is broken. And he walks off. And I said, this time I said, I have a different opinion. If the plane is broken, I'm not getting on. And quite frankly, you can't make me. And it made him laugh. And he said, Mr. Gard, you made me laugh. I'm going to upgrade you to first class for free. Very good. Don't make me start over. So I go down to get on the plane, I hand my ticket to the agent, and I said to the agent, hey, I got upgraded for free. And this young man looks at me and goes, sir, we only have one class of service on this airplane today. That is a cruel hoax, people. But I went to get on the plane, and by the way, I really don't drag anybody on stage, but I went to get on the plane, and the seat configuration was 2 and 2. So there's 2 seats over here, 2 seats over here. I'm in the bulkhead aisle seat. And over here, seated across from me, is a young man wearing pajama bottoms. Now, I am not the fashion police, but I had to ask myself, what clothing did he bypass where this was his best choice? What would have been his second choice? And he wants a margarita. Now it's 6 a.m. And I understand 6 a.m., want a margarita. He's going, I want a margarita. Flight attendant says we don't have margaritas. I want a margarita. Galley's not open. Want a margarita. And this is going back and forth. And the flight attendant is getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And finally she reaches over, grabs 2 beers and hands them to him. Why 2 beers? Don't know. But she hands him 2 beers and it shuts him up. Now, I've done nothing except sit next to Pajama Bottom Man. And P.S., I'm supposed to be in first class. But she looks over at me and she goes, what do you want? And I knew she needed help. I knew she needed a little bit of help. And I looked up and I said, do you have Tang? I would just like a glass of Tang, please. And she actually looked. She actually opened the drawer up, which makes it even funnier. And she goes, there's no Tang. What would your second choice be? And I said, can you make me a milkshake? I mean, I don't know what flavors you have today. And she goes, there's no flavors. What would your third choice be? And I said, I would like a margarita, like that guy. And there was this millisecond delay and then just hysterical laughter. And she just laughed and laughed and laughed. It was so much fun. And I sat there the rest of the flight. I listened to her she took her drink card, pushed it down the aisle, and she'd stop when she gave away drinks. And she told that story every time she stopped. And as everybody deplaned, I stayed behind and visited with her. And I said, you know, as I was talking with her, she said, Mr. Gard, I have not had this much fun in a long time on a flight. And I said, this happens for me every single time. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, I'm going to have fun and nobody's going to stop me. And whether I'm on an airplane, whether I'm traveling, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm going to have fun. Nobody's going to stop me. And she goes, well, I'm really looking forward to my next flight too, because that guy won't be on it. And I said, you got to have something to look forward to like that. But here's the thing. As you go through your days are going to be a series of what? And what? And a little work, we can take the what and turn it into what? And it's not rocket surgery. You know, Britney Spears is correct about that. We'll have fun with this today. There we go. Stress is not what happens to you. Stress is based on your perception about what happens to you. And these two words really can change your life. The bummer woohoo concept really does work. It is not that complicated. You have bummers and we also have woohoos. We don't want anybody out from the IRS, out in the audience. Another important concept is this. We all smile and laugh in the same language. It unites us. It brings us together. I've had people laugh all over the world. Johannesburg, South Africa, Australia, all over the world. It brings us together. A lot like bowling. And some of you, let me go back one. Some of you use humor, some of you don't use humor. Everybody do this. Make a circle with your thumb and finger, just like this right here. Now, you don't have to touch anybody, but do this like this. Now, do what I tell you to do. Put it on your chin. Put it on your chin. Put it on your chin. All right, hands down. Some of you are out there. It's on my chin. What's so funny about that? If you're a visual, some of you are still going, not getting it, Tim. Not getting it. If you're a visual person, you didn't do what you heard, you did what you what? Auditory people didn't do what they saw, they did what they what? There's no right or wrong way to do this unless you did this. But the thing is, some of you are visual people, some of you are auditory, and if you want to use humor as a skill to connect with people, concentrate on your strengths and work on the things you're not as strong about. Humor is a connecting tool I think is really important. I believe today that people are getting socially inept. Don't you? The ability to talk with people and not at them. The ability to laugh with them. And that's what we're here today to do, is to chat just a little bit about how to connect with people, how to forge the future. You take all of your skills of all the people in this room and we promote the great sport of bowling. And when you work hard on it, it's not about working harder or longer. It's about... We'll take some wallets of those, all right? That's all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's about learning to take the skills you have and just having fun with them. These little itty-bitty chickens, I carry these with me wherever I go. I don't know why they're funny. I don't know what there is about them that is so funny, but they are. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I just gotten married a couple years ago. I brought my wife with me, and I wanted to we were going to spend an extra spa day, and so I booked an extra day at the conference, and when I did that, what they did is they rebooked my room according to the most current fee amount. And so it was $150. After I rebooked it, now it's $250. And that's a what? That's a bummer. And I said, the lady, there's got to be something we can do about this. She goes, my hands are tied. She goes, you got booked at the best fee available. That's all I can do. And I said, there must be something we can do. And I reached in my pocket to pull out an itty-bitty chicken. And she thought I was going to pull out what? Money. And bribe her. And she goes, sir, you cannot bribe me. And I said, now, before you say that, you better know what I got in my pocket here. And I took these little itty-bitty chickens and I just kind of slid them across the table real slow. And she goes, you cannot bribe me. And I turned my hand over and she saw those chickens and she wanted them really bad. And she goes, I'm sure there's, and I said, now before you say anything else, let me just sweeten the pot just a little bit more. And I just put one more on there. I ended up getting the room for $80 a night. The next day when I came downstairs, she had them on as earrings. These little things, these are connectors. They're just ways for us to have fun and connect with another person. And we don't have to explain why they work. They just have to work. And I have all kinds of free stuff to give to you. This is mental floss. If somebody ever says that bowling's not the greatest sport ever invented, this is mental floss. You just put this on right like this, and you just... Who wants one? Okay. So if you talk to me today, I actually have freebies. Do you like freebies? If you talk to me today, I have work with me, people. I write this stuff for you. I actually carry these around with me wherever I go. I'll check into a hotel and I'll say, do you have any freebies? And they'll go, no. And I'll go, then these are for you. Next thing you know, I'm in a suite. Woohoo! For me, it's all about having fun. Rule number one is have fun. Say it. Have fun. As you go through your day, as you look at using humor, you'll find that you can use it under the most demanding of conditions. I've used it in some very difficult jobs. This slide right here doesn't really have an awful, I have field tested it. I like this slide simply because it's so funny. This person is so concentrating on that wheat or whatever it is, they don't really see the combine coming. I don't know why I like that so much, but I was in the Navy. I was in the evacuation of Vietnam a few years ago, and I remember I was stationed on the U.S. That's actually me I'm the one with my shirt on there in the middle. But I was on board the USS Midway, CVA 41, and when I went to go on board the ship, I had one of the chief petty officers tell me, he said, Tim, there's a lot of ways you can get killed on this ship. He said, I don't want anybody to die of shame. And I asked him what that was. And he said, yesterday we had somebody reading a book on the flight deck running, and he said they ran right off the fantail. And they didn't die, so you can laugh. But they didn't die. But what happened was I realized that stress and all the things around stress makes us do foolish things. Don't you agree? And what we need to do is insulate ourselves from all the situational stress that are out there. And when you combine humor into the mix, things get really good. So in 1975, on April 25th, 75, we evacuated Vietnam. And on the flight deck got full of helicopters. There wasn't a spare inch anywhere. And I remember somebody said, what are we going to do? We don't know what to do. The sky was full of helicopters. And somebody, as a joke, said, let's push them over the side. And so we did. Now, we took the people out of them first, quite frankly. But, woohoo! But the thing is, humor is the combining of ideas that aren't normally associated with one another. That's all it is. that you start looking at new ways that you can connect with people in your own bowling world about how we talk with people. You know, I sat on the plane on the way out here, and I was just visiting with people, as I always do, and the person sitting next to me had never bowled, ever. And I asked why, and they didn't know. And so I asked several people about it, and it was like I hadn't thought about it. And I realized that this calling about getting the word out and telling people how much fun this is so important, and you've got to be creative about how you do it. Do you agree? And the more fun you have, the more contagious it becomes. I can do this in my sleep. This is where I slept on board ship, right here. My berthing compartment. This is an elevator to move aircraft up and down the flight deck. But I slept right there. Every week or so, we had a fire on board ship, and you'd hear fire in compartment 6, level 5, deck frame 223, and in your brain you'd go boop, 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 right here. And if you were further enough away from my rack, I would go back to sleep. We can get used to anything, and you can be doing what you're doing, and I know you're all volunteers, but you could be doing what you're doing and think to yourself that you can do it in your sleep, and I think that's when things get to be a problem. It's about being present. Do you agree? It's about seeing all the funny things that are out there. It's seeing everything around there, and it's learning to laugh at yourself. And as C.W. Metcalf said, laugh not with ridicule, but with objectivity and acceptance of self. And being able to laugh at yourself is important. We don't want to diminish anybody. And then we combine business with it. This is my very first business card. It's a picture of my pride and joy. Now, Henny Youngman originated it. People would say, you have a picture of my pride and joy. When you get a regular business card, how long do you hold on to it for? Minutes, seconds? People wanted these. They hung on to them. And I thought, let's look at another, maybe there's a little bit further we can take this. And so I came up with a picture of my kids. Did people hang on to my business cards? You bet. So I thought, let's take this one step further. I get asked all the time, you check in a hotel here, what's your name? Do you have a reservation? Do you have a what? A major credit card. So I had these made up on the front. It says, this is a what? Major credit card. That's actually my 800 number, 1-800-865-9939. Those actually still exist. And they'll look me right in the eye and they go, do you have some other form of identification? And if you turn the card over on the back, it says, here is some other form of identification. Now, did they laugh every time they see this? No. I don't care. I couldn't wait. The very first time I got this, I could not wait to check in. I go to check in the hotel, and I want you to picture this. 1 o'clock in the morning, young man behind the counter, I'm his worst nightmare. I'm ready to play. He's the only human available. And I walk up to the counter. Hi, Tim Gard, checking in. What's he say? What's your name? Still Tim Gard. Do you have a reservation? Yes, I do. He said, sir, I'm going to need to see a major credit card. And I said, I got one. I was hoping you'd ask because I got one. And he takes the card and he looks at it. He doesn't know what to do, and he's... And he'd been trained that when you don't know what to do, if something happens, you don't know what to do, you ask for help. Now, there's nobody there, but he does it anyway, and he's... And he goes, sir, I don't know what to do. And I said, if it were me, this is just me, but if it were me, I would ask for some other form of identification. And he said, do you have some other form of identification? Woohoo! And he goes, this is a joke, isn't it? Now, here's the thing with this. This is a fun thing to do, but when I do public seminars, I actually sell these for $1. I sell my business card for $1, and people can't wait to show it to other people. Is that good business? You bet. This one's free. I checked in. I go to check in a hotel. I do this all the time. I probably do it 110 times a year. Young man behind the counter, I had my major credit card all ready to go. Hi, Tim Gard. Hi, I'm getting ready to say, hi, Tim Gard, checking in. What's your name? Still Tim Gard. And he looks at me and he goes, and how would you like to make payment? And I said, where did that come from? And he said, what do you mean? I said, that's not what you're supposed to ask. And he said, what am I supposed to ask? I said, I can't tell you. It's not funny. You just have to ask it. And he said, how would you like to make payment? And I said, you missed out on a lot of fun, buddy, a lot of fun. So I write new material down, and I wrote the new way to do this. And again, about a month later, hi, Tim Gard, check in. What's your name? Still Tim Gard. Young man says, and how would you like to make payment? Well, now I'm ready. And I said, I would like to make payment with tales of glory and adventure. Gather your staff and I will tell you a tale to amaze and amuse you. Gather them now, the tale will follow. And this poor kid looks over at this lady next to her. We don't accept tales of adventure. I said, then with soybeans in my bag, I have soybeans for everybody. Soybeans, soy. So, do you have a major credit card? Oh, yeah. This is about establishing your own personal brand. Wherever you're from, do people look at you as somebody they look forward to talking to you, or an ordeal? Is that you want people looking at you and thinking, this is a good, I want to laugh with this person, they've always got something funny. For me, as a traveler, I have fun no matter where I'm going. And I mean, your personal brand is very important. Every time I check in a hotel, I want to be away from the ice machine, the soda machine and the ice machine. I want to be as far away as possible. This is my room in San Francisco. This is the door to my room right here. They were built into my room, 2 feet. People get ice all night long. And so I went back downstairs and I said, can you move me into another room? I don't like the ice and the pop machine. She goes, certainly. Move me to another room, 1 floor up. Bummer, exactly. And I called downstairs and she goes, do you want to move again? I said, no, ma'am, I've caught on to this. And I took that picture, I keep it on my cell phone. They're not going to make me mad. Seems like there's a lot of things that are out there going on that are people pushing our buttons trying to make us mad. I check in a hotel. I'm in Miami, Florida. It's about 112 degrees. It's midnight. It's my water flowing down. I have standing water in my shoes. I'm miserable. I love that town, though. But I'm checking in. I get up to my room. I can't wait to crank the air conditioning up. And I walk in the room, and it's 120. It's so hot. It's even hotter in the room. The air conditioning failed. And I pick up the phone to call the front desk to send an engineer up. And before I can say a word, this young man says, sir, I can't talk to you right now. We had a transformer blow up outside the hotel. And I said, is it the Decepticons? Am I in danger here? And they said, no, it's not Transformers. It's just one Transformer. I said, one could kill us all. Didn't you see that movie? And the clerk said, what would you like me to do? I said, you need to call Optimus Prime. That's what you need to do. Your personal brand. How are you known? Do people smile when they see you? We want to be able to develop what I call a comic vision, to learn to see things differently. And when you see funny things, the world changes. I write jokes all the time. I don't write them to tell on stage. I write them so that my frame of mind is always looking at being creative. I just wrote this one. According to new research, writing down negative thoughts, throwing them in the trash can help a bad mood. I tried it. I'm happier. I do miss my iPad, though. All right, we'll keep that one. This humor helps us refresh and renew. And I mean, there are a lot of irritating things that are going on out there. These cell phones are so irritating. This is from 1995. I like to put this in my pocket and I'll go into Best Buy, and And I'll go ahead. Can I help you? I'm looking for a new iPhone. They always say the same thing. What do you have now? Well, it's analog, and you. But cell phones, don't you think they've created a whole group of incredibly rude people out there? Yes. You shouldn't have to tell people they can't talk on these in the toilet. Right? I don't want to overshare. I had my knee replaced a couple years ago, and I had to wear this knee brace whenever I flew, and I would wait to go through security to put it on, and so I'm in the stall trying to put this knee brace on, and I hear this voice next to me go, "Hello." I'm a polite guy, I'm, "Hello." And then I hear, "I'm in Denver." "Me too." But it's not the cell phones, it's those Bluetooth devices that are incredibly irritating. Don't you agree? And at the airport, I can't tell who's in a meeting and who's mentally ill. And I'm not making fun of mentally ill people. I'm talking about these people that walk around there, they've got this Bluetooth. They don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday. No, tell you, I was at the airport in Chicago. Whenever I travel, if I'm boarding at gate 22, I'll go to gate like 19 or 18 that's already boarded. There's nobody there, and that's where I sit. And so I'm seated here. I'm right here. I'm all by myself. There's nobody, 10 people here, all by myself, reading my book, and I can hear this guy. "I don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday." "No." "Yeah." "Not by Tuesday." "No." "Yeah." "No, I don't think not by Tuesday." "No." "Yeah." "No." And he comes over, he's walking, "I don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday." And he sits right next to me. Not 2 seats over, right next to me. "I don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday." And I'm right here. I'm not angry. I am fascinated. This guy has no idea there's another human being in his vicinity. And "I don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday." And I thought, say that one more time. Say that one more time. And I hear him go, "I don't think we can ship that order by Tuesday." And I said, "I need that order by Tuesday." "You told me you'd ship that order by Tuesday. You better ship that order by Tuesday." And it's as if I appeared out of thin air. And he goes, "Sir, I'm not talking to you." Well, the guy on the phone thinks he's still talking to him. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm talking to you." I said, "I'm talking to you. You better ship that order by Tuesday." And he starts picking his stuff up, and I'm going, "Don't you walk away from me. I will find you by Tuesday." Then I changed seats before the police came. I have flown millions of miles. I have traveled all over the world. I'm going to be getting on a plane. I leave here, I go up to Rapid City, South Dakota. I'm going to have fun. Woohoo! I'm going to have fun. Nobody's going to stop me. And this is what I want for you. And it doesn't matter what you do. I know all of your volunteers, but I know if you're working somewhere else, there's always going to be something stressful. I just invented these. I had a lady tell me if she could just have a few seconds to herself. Just needed a few seconds to herself. So I invented these. These are called "Don't Bug Me" glasses. You can put these on. People will leave you alone. And I know some of you are saying, "Richard, here, I've got a couple of them here." Woohoo! Nope. That was a close one. We have yellow, we have red. I'll make Richard give these to you. There you go. There's a couple of them right there. There you go. Woohoo! When you find the things that irritate you, you've got to find a way past them. I hear on the plane all the time, they say, "I caught the red eye." Have you heard that? I had these made up. And people go, I caught the red eye, and I'll go, show it to me. I caught the red eye. I have mine right here. Boop, we're done right there. It's not rocket surgery. Learning to act and not react to the situational stress that are up there. I know that's a very frightening photo. And then you start paying attention and you see these things literally everywhere. It is everywhere. And when we start learning to connect each other, you find that the little things, I think, are the funniest. And I don't, unfortunately, have the big version of this. I had some consulting work I'm doing with a group of housing builders, and they have a lot of older staff and younger staff. And the younger staff was calling the older staff gray hairs. The older staff was calling the younger staff cell phones. And I thought, we need to have a way to deal with this. And so I had these made up. These are, I don't know how big we're able to get. It's a gray, if I can hold that, there you go, right there. It is a gray hair. And so I gave these to the younger staff members, and they said, how do I use them? And I said, when somebody asks you how you're doing, just pull them out of your pocket and say, I'm finding more and more of these every day when I wake up. Little things like this connect people. Do you agree? And if we're able to consistently do this, can I share those with you, my friend? If we're able to do this, the more you do it, people look forward to talking with you. They look forward to seeing what you're going to share with them, and they learn how to have fun too. And having fun is a really good thing to do. When you change your perception, you actually create a different reality, and you are in the now. My parents, my mom and dad were in Helena, Montana. This is the hospital in Helena. Is anybody, my friends from Montana here? Woohoo, couple, there you go. So this really is the name of the hospital, true or false? I stand out front there. My dad's in the hospital. I had both parents in the hospital, and they were okay. But I stood out front, and I thought, who names a hospital after the saint that guards the pearly gates? I mean, is it owned by Stephen King, a little cemetery out in back? And I went in with my dad, and I told my dad the joke, and my dad goes, that's one you could have hung on to for a little bit longer, son. But it's the memorable moments that we want to share with people and not the nightmares. These little card keys are an incredible technology when they work. When they don't work, they're a nightmare of biblical proportions. I go to check-in hotel. I won't tell you which one it was here in Las Vegas, but its initials are MGM. And I walked to my room. How far did I walk? I forgot where I was going. I mean, you just walk and walk. And I finally get to the door, and it's not that complicated. I put the key in the door, little light turns green. I take the key out. I go to open the door won't open. So what do? You try it again. Put it in. Light turns green, take it out, door won't open. Put it in, leave it in, turn the handle, door doesn't open. So I take it out. And I've seen people do this. I don't know the physics behind it, but we do this. I don't know why we do it, but we do it. And I don't know whether we're supposed to go back. I don't know. So I do it both ways like that. I put it back in, light turns green, take it out, door doesn't open. So I thought maybe it's backwards. So I turn it around. I don't know if it's loaded backwards. I don't know the technology. Put it in, light doesn't turn green. I don't know if it's a good sign. Take it out, door doesn't open. Upside down. I try everything, and then I look to see if I'm in the right room, floor, tower, genus, phylum, species, order. And I go all the way back to the front desk. This young lady checked me in and goes, is there a problem? And I said, my key won't work. And she assumed it was a user error. And she looked at me and she goes, did you put it next to an eel skin wallet? I was not prepared for that question. I've been gone a long time. I guess it's possible I wore my wallet out and got it. No, I didn't put it next to an eelskin wallet. And she goes, let me show you how to operate it. She reaches under the counter, pulls out a replica of the door and lock assembly with a working door that actually opens. And she goes, may I see your key? Certainly. Hand her my key. She goes, now watch what I do. Yes, ma'am. She takes the key And she's getting ready to put it in, and she makes sure that I'm watching, and I'm, nobody more than me wants in that room, ma'am. And she takes the key and she puts it in, this little tiny light turns green, she takes it out and the little door opens. And I went, that's incredible. Do it again. So she puts it in, takes it out, and does it again. She goes, why don't you show me how you were doing it? She hands it back, and I said, yeah, I was just out in the hallway waving it around. She goes, no, it goes in real slow like this. So the guy walks up, and he goes, my car key won't work. And I said, you got an eelskin wallet? Has this happened to me since then? Oh, yeah. I stand in the hallway and laugh and laugh and laugh. All of these things that are going on, they're going to happen again. And when you travel the way I do, they happen again and again. A couple weeks ago, I had my face pressed up against the glass almost the whole flight back to Portland. And I know it's not right. I probably should have been in the window seat instead of the aisle, but... But when you change your perception, you create a different reality. And when I'm having a bad day, I think of this guy. This guy's name is Tony. Tony runs a snake charming show in Thailand. Tony makes $25 a day to do this. Tony knows that he's going to get bit once a week by a cobra. Now, you and I have had bad days, right? Not once, I bet, has anybody in this room got up and gone, bet I get bit by a cobra today. Yesterday, when I was waiting for that flight, things were going on. It was tense. People were angry. I thought about Tony. He gets as close as you can really get. Some of you are going, change the picture, Tim, change the picture. But this is a matter of perception. And once you perceive things differently, the world changes. A lot of you take all the things that happen every day and drag them around with you. Just like a wagon. It's like, those of you who are still working, you go, see you tomorrow. You go, how was your day? There's my day. Deal with that day. And a lot of people, we drag them back with us. If you do nothing else, at the end of every day, after talking with stakeholders, after working with people, trying to connect with people, you've got to learn to let go and relax. Do you agree? And the way you do that is I want you to find a chair, sit down, and treat it the way a gymnast would. Done for the day, do your dismount. Really stuck that day, and then turn around and do this, and you stay. You leave it there. So I said, rule number 1 is have what? The people in this room, the first hurdle is getting people to have fun. I think you folks have a black belt in fun. Anybody that loves to bowl, got to be able to have fun, right? Fun is a good thing to have, and what we want to do is lead people to it. And we exemplify what we do. I don't just order a latte. I actually do like lattes. I ask the barista if they'll do my likeness in the foam. I have hundreds of pictures like this. And and then I tip them a couple dollars, so it's only like $39.95 or something like that. The best way to deal with change, I believe, is to be resourceful. This is my carry-on bag. A lot of you have black carry-on bags. This is mine. Mine is the only one that's got orange chicken feet sticking out of it. Why is that? I can spot that thing a mile away. But it originally was to solve a problem. I go to get on the plane. I put the bag wheels first like this. If it doesn't fit, then you have to put it sideways like this. People would come behind me, move my bag back around like this. The bin wouldn't close, and I'd have to check my bag. Since I put the chicken feet in there, it doesn't happen anymore. I've actually watched people grab the handle, get right about here, and just put it back. Problem solved. And I love it when TSA, I don't mess with TSA, but when TSA in Denver May I look in your wallet, or may I look in your suitcase? Now, what are your options? Oh, don't look in there. Scary things. This young man reaches in the bag, takes the rubber chicken out. Now, he's not even surprised it's a whole rubber chicken. He takes the rubber chicken out and he's... and he starts to frisk it. And I was doing really good till he does this. He does the flip like he's done it 100 times, And he gives a little squeeze here. And he goes right down to the toenails and goes, "It's clear." I don't even know the proper response to that. But this is my carry-on bag. This is my check bag. I had somebody take my bag by mistake one time at the airport. It'll never happen again. I had the sign put on. It says, "This is not your bag. Many bags look alike. This isn't your bag because this bag belongs to Tim Gard." Now, does this work every time? No. I'm in Phoenix. It's going around the turnstile. This young man looks at the sign, looks at my bag, and pulls it off the turnstile. And I said, "Come on." And he says, "That looks just like my bag except for the sign." Good to know. Good to know. I will tell you, I was in Australia. I love going to Australia. I was in Australia, and I did a show in Sydney, and then went to go to the Gold Coast. And I travel so much, I'm actually allowed 3 bags this big, 75 pounds per bag. And I get spoiled being able to do that. But I did my show and go to check back in to go to the Gold Coast, and this young man at the airport goes, "Sir, I have to tell you, on our airline, your first bag is free. Your second bag is based on weight." And he decided to pick the one that had my books in it. And that's a what? A bummer. And so I said, "Well, how much is it going to cost?" He weighs it out. "It's going to cost me $300. And that's a bummer. And I said, "Well, can I leave it here?" He goes, "Sir, if you leave it here, we'll destroy it. We blow them up." And I have to tell you, as a man, I would like to see that, even though it's my own bag, just a little bit. But I said, "There's got to be another way." And he goes, "There's no other way." And I said, "What's a one-way ticket cost between Sydney and the Gold Coast?" And he said, "They're on sale for $98. I said, "Sell me another ticket." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "If you sell me another ticket," I said, "on your airline, my first bag flies free on my first ticket, second bag flies free on my second ticket. I saved $202. And it made him mad. And he hands me the tickets, and I'm in 16A and 23D. And I said to him, "Can't I sit together?" And he said, "Maybe somebody will move." And I said, "You want me to get somebody to move so I can be with myself?" And he looks at me and goes, "You win." And I said, I don't want to win. I just want to have what? I want to have fun. I actually have more than one bag. That's the other bag there up there. Does this bag make my butt look big? That's been it's delightfully tacky. So take just a moment. I want you to look at this sign, or look at this picture, and I want you to look at it from the top going down and tell me, is the cat going upstairs or down? How many think it's going upstairs? All right, hands down. How many of you think it's going downstairs? How many of you wouldn't raise your hand no matter what Okay, so now this time, look at the bottom of it looking up and tell me if your perception changes. Simply by looking at the same photograph in a little bit different manner, our perception changes. The more you look at it, the easier it gets. And the best way to deal with stress, be really good at what you do. Connect with people, talk with them, get them laughing, get that feeling going, and then they're going to listen to you. And they'll look forward to seeing you in the future. Be really good at what you do, really good at connecting. Step 2 is do it for yourself. Say, "For myself." You've got to find ways of dealing with the situational stress and find funny things that are out there, just like what I showed you. You can't make this stuff up. I have a place in Montana in Polson. This is right near my house there. This guy's tried everything to get people to slow down. He finally put this sign up. Everybody stops to take a picture of it. Being creative. This is my Comic Visions coloring book. I discovered during boarding of the aircraft, if I want to be left alone, if I'm coloring, people will leave me alone. And if I'm coloring pictures of myself, people will even avoid the rest of my row to sit somewhere else. It's not that complicated. When you do get a group of people and want to talk to them, when you're talking to a team or anybody, don't make it boring. This guy's been to one too many boring meetings. It's incredible. You don't have to make it boring. We can make things fun. This is another one of my inventions. This is called a seat saver. You can, if you want to, if you want somebody to save your seat wherever you are at a meeting, oh, no, you had his hand up, very first one. There you go. This one's yours, my friend. People will leave that alone, I guarantee it. And the third part is share it. Say it. Share it. You know, all of the things that we've talked about here, the one thing that I think I enjoy the most in my travels is this policy manual. Don't tell people, you know, people use negative policies all the time. We were talking earlier. People told you their policy about what they can't do. Use policies in a positive manner. This policy manual is so much fun. I've used this thing all over the world. On the front, it says, I grant you the power to serve me. On the back of it, where my picture is, you can actually put your picture over mine, and it just says me. I like to use his when I'm traveling. But the policy manual, if it's in writing, it has to be true, right? One of the first times I went to use it, I go to a check-in hotel, and they actually put me in a smoking room. I didn't even know they still had them. I was in New Zealand, and didn't even know they still had them. Check in the hotel, they put me in a smoking room, and I said, I actually asked for a non-smoking room, and they said, well, you can request it, but that's not what we can't guarantee it. And I said, do you have any non-smoking suites? And they said, no. They checked, they said, it's $150 more per night. Now, I know I can't pass that cost on to my customer, right, Richard, wherever you are. So I said, can you upgrade me to a non-smoking suite at no cost since you gave away my non-smoking room? And they said, no. Our what? Our policy is we don't upgrade based on smoking preference. So I opened up my policy manual and I read, if I request and reserve a non-smoking room in any hotel and that property then gives my non-smoking room away prior to my arrival, then said hotel is required by law to upgrade me to a non-smoking suite at no additional cost to me, no exceptions. And I handed it to the lady, and she shows the other clerk, and she said, it's right there. He's not making that up. And she looks me right in the eye and she said, you need to talk to the manager. So I turned to page 22 and I read to her, once I verbalized my policy to any employee at any level, I am forbidden by policy to repeat said policy verbally in writing to anyone else, no exceptions. They put me in the presidential suite. Woo! The non-smoking presidential suite, I might add. You know, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but we want to encourage people to do whatever they can and to have fun. Don't you agree? And the policy manual works. I had a lady at a restaurant refuse to seat me until the entire dining party had arrived. So I hand wrote this in my policy manual. There's places you can do that. And I wrote in here, if I'm the first of several friends to arrive at a restaurant and the greeter refuses to seat me until the entire dining party has arrived, then I'll be provided free of charge any substance I eat or drink during the time the table is withheld, no exceptions. And she said, I just saw you write that in that book. So I turned to the section that authorizes me to write new and updated policies in this book as needed. Said handwritten policy shall immediately become effective, remain in effect till the final policy can be formulated, finalized, recorded in the appropriate category. And she looks at me and goes, you win. I said, I don't want to win. I just want to have what? I just want to have fun. There's a lot more in here. If they tell you no, you go to page 29, just says yes. If it even gets further, you can go to page 33. It says, because I say so. Over and over and over. And I have to tell you, the folks here have gotten one of these for each of you. Each of you will be receiving one of these. When you leave here today, you're going to get this amazing packet that has a policy manual, freebies, major credit card. It's got a picture of my pride and joy. Every one of you forging our future together, every one of you are going to get one of these when you leave here today. And if you do decide to stay and don't want to get up and change seats, do let them know. They'll come down and give you one too. I'm not speaking out of turn. I cleared that with Richard. He's going, we're going to do what? But we actually wrote, Richard, the gang got together and wrote USBC. There's some actual policies in here. On page 12, it says, I seek out bowlers, league officials, and center operators to get to know them better and lead conversations to represent the tremendous value of USBC membership every day. Now, I want you to know, in between US and BC, it's a typographical error. I want you right now to program your brain not to see that ever again. That's my fault. Maybe I was thinking US, BC is what I'm thinking. No exceptions. And then the other one is, my mother told me to think positive, speak positive, and positive things will happen. Thus, as a representative of USBC, it's my policy to only speak positively regarding our great sport and association, no exceptions. These are your policies. And every one of you will be getting one of these when you leave. I think it's important that as you look at this, I left out one part of it at the very end of it. If you want to win an argument, if somebody's arguing with you about something, you just need charts and graphs. In the back of your policy manual, there's charts and graphs. They don't have to mean anything. They're just charts and graphs. Charts and graphs can mean anything you want them to mean. And so I tell people, I'll say, do you want me to be satisfied? Yes, I do. Well, if I don't get my way, I may be only 20% satisfied. If I get my way, I could be up to 100% satisfied, which in the quarterly chart on the left is clearly best for me. And I can't tell you how many times people go, well, that makes sense, Mr. Gard. This having fun, the more you do it, it becomes contagious and you want to share it more. This is the nose flute. You play this by blowing through your nose. How many of you brought yours? When you practice, you can get pretty good with one. You can do almost any song on them. We can get classical. You can do... And I know some of you are saying, Tim, did you bring any more of those? Richard, I probably won't bring people up on stage. That's probably a good thing, huh? That's probably a good thing. But I will tell you what, people, if you come down here, I'm going to teach you how to play these. I need a couple volunteers. I'm going to teach you how to play. We're going to stand right here in front. Raise your hand. You want to come down? Come on up. Come on up.
I don't know if I can do it, but I'll...
Yeah, line up right here. There you go. You go. We're going to show you how to play. Here you go. We're not going to go on stage. There you go. I got a couple more. Line up. Little end up, big end down, or little end up, big end down, much like myself.
Get up there.
There you go. Line up right here up against the stage. There you go, ma'am. Red, there you go. There you go. Line up right over there, ma'am. Here we go. Here we go. Is the next one for you? That was for you. Here we go. Who else? Come on, I got a couple more. You know you want these. These aren't fun. There you go. Now don't go back to your seat. I know, I've seen that before. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Little end up, big end down. There you go. Hold them now. Watch me. All right? Hold them like this. Little end up, big end down. Bend your knees slightly. Turn your head to the left and clear your nose of any foreign particles. The curved end goes gently under your nose. Don't push it into your brain. Open up your mouth this far. Hook your lower lip here. Blow gently through your nose. Just through your nose. Slide it down a little bit further. Open your mouth a little bit more. Blow gently through your nose. Open your mouth a little bit more. Slide it down a little further. There you go. Open your mouth a little bit more. A little bit more. Got like that. Okay, hook your lower lip here. So gently just through your nose. Open your mouth a little bit more. Almost got it. Okay. Open your mouth a little bit more. Blow gently just through your nose. Open your mouth a little bit more. A little bit more. Blow gently through your nose. Just through. All right. All right. Let's do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Get ready. Get set. Again. Well done. I do not want those back. Oh, that's great. Humor is just the combining of ideas that aren't normally associated with one another. We want to be able to have fun, right? This is why we're here. My world is a world of travel. You know, I have fun and nobody's going to stop me. Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. When we share laughter together, it creates a common bond. It makes people want to be able to talk with you and share that feeling. Laugh at the things you can, be serious about the things you have to, and have fun. Those are the bags you're going to get when you go out. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I. State your name. My people. Promise to use my comic vision every day. I'll have fun. I'll use humor for myself. And I'll share it. I will forge the future. Hi, sign. Thanks for sharing it with me, everybody. Have a great conference. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you very much. Woo-hoo.
Let's hear it again for Tim Gard.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.